Referring counsel to that same deposition, page 59, lines 4 through 8. During that deposition, Mr. Wilson, you were asked question, and he was clear with you, he being Ronny, was clear that he was the one that shot the girl? Answer, that's what he told me. Question, never told you that anyone else did it? Answer, no ma'am. Those are the answers that you gave me just a couple of weeks ago, correct?
Correct.
And then Mr. Terry asked to speak with you and showed you a copy of the prior statement that you gave, correct?
Correct.
And in that prior statement, you said that Mr. Walker told you Quincy or Q was the one that shot the girl, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so I suppose, again, that was information that just slipped your mind when I was asking you about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This conversation that you're having with Mr. Walker, is this the first conversation or that second conversation?
I don't recall if it was the first or second conversation, but it was a conversation that we had.
Okay. The conversation where Mr. Walker is telling you the details, does that happen at his mom's house or does that happen at Ronisha's house?
His mom's house.
Okay. And you specifically recall that conversation happening the day before Ronny Walker gets arrested, correct?
I don't know if it was specifically the day before, but it was during that time.
Well, haven't you previously testified that it was the day before?
Yeah, I said it was the day before or somewhere around that time.
You believe your testimony has been it was the day before or somewhere around that time?
Yes.
Okay. This conversation with the details, is that the same conversation where Mr. Walker is asking you about a bond for Q?
Yes.
Referring counsel to page 59 of that same deposition, lines 20 through 25. I'm sorry, hang on one second. You were asked, the conversation we had about Q, was that the day before he was arrested, he being Ronny, near Ronisha's house? And you responded, yes, ma'am, because the same day that he was arrested is the same day that I turned myself into Manatee County.
Okay.
Those were the answers that you gave just a couple of weeks ago, correct?
Correct.
And you're referring to when you turn yourself into Manatee County sometime in May or April?
No, I turned myself in April, and then I turned myself in again July 7th.
I understand, but I'm saying, when you're saying this conversation that you're having with Ronny Walker.
This conversation would have happened in July.
Oh, you believe it was July? Okay. Referring counsel to page 60, lines 4 through 7. During that same deposition, Mr. Wilson, you were asked, so you're saying Ronny gets arrested in May, that same day? Answer, yeah, I think it was the same day that I turned myself in. Question, so this conversation that you had with Ronny happened in May? Answer, it was whatever day he was arrested, this conversation happened the day before he was arrested. Those are the answers that you gave, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And it's during that conversation, the day before Ronny gets arrested, that he's telling you he needs you to bond Q out of jail in Pinellas County, or arrange for a bond for Q in Pinellas County, correct?
Somewhere around that time, yes.
Okay. Would you be surprised to learn, Mr. Wilson, that Mr. Creed, Q, actually doesn't get arrested until July 27th, long after Ronny Walker was in jail. Is that surprising to you?
Yes.
Okay. I thought it might be. I think your testimony to Mr. Terry is that Mr. Walker said he's arguing with Miss Alexander and he turns around and shoots her. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you previously stated that Mr. Walker told you that when he shot Miss Alexander, she's sitting in the front passenger seat, correct?
I don't remember if he told me she was in the front passenger or not. I can't remember.
Okay. Now, you testified here today that you've never met Mr. Creed, correct?
Correct.
You don't know who he is, correct?
No.
Okay. But you were able to give Mr. Terry and the Detective Wieland, an exact description of what Robert Quincy Creed looked like.
Correct.
Isn't that true? Yet you had never met him, right?
Nope.
Never saw any pictures of him.
No, ma'am.
Right? So you just miraculously knew what this man looked like.
No, I miraculously listened to what your client told me he looked like and gave that description was what he told me.
Okay. Oh, so this is some new information. Tell me more.
No, ma'am, it's not new. It's in my deposition.
Tell me more.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but that's what was told to me. I gave the description that was given to me in the deposition. If you give me the deposition, I can read it from that. I don't have it.
Oh, let me get that for you.
Thank you.
All right. Can I approach the witness counter?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson, I'm giving you all 90 pages of your deposition. Please let me know what page it is that you see where you told me Mr. Walker told you what Mr. Robert Quincy Creed looked
No,
like.
you asked me how did I know the description. I told you he gave me the
Right.
description.
Let me
Right.
know. Let me know in the deposition where you said that.
This is the deposition. I'm looking for the one from from August 2nd of 2022.
You're asking for your proffer.
Yes.
Let me grab that from you.
Thank you.
I don't want all the papers to get mixed up, so let me make sure they're all in here. So I want to make sure that your testimony is clear, because I think we got a little confused there, is that your testimony today is that Mr. Walker told you what Robert Quincy Creed Sr., the father, what he looks like.
Yes, ma'am. It's in If you let me see the profile, I'll show it to you.
All right, here's your proffer from August 2nd. Let me help you, Mr.
No, I
Wilson.
have it right
You
here
got
now.
it? You got the correct
Yes.
page? And for counsel, we're referring to page 11, starting at line 10. Now,
Right.
Mr. Wilson, what you said is that he was saying that when he say, I gave them Q's son information, a description of Q's son,
Right.
is what he said he gave the detective. And then you told the detective, not Mr. Walker, you told the detective, because Q's son got, that's after Q. He had dreads and was light-skinned and had dreads, is what he said. But the daddy Q is a slim dude with bald head. That's you talking to the detective.
No, that's me
correct?
giving the entire description on what was given to me by him. I never stopped talking. That's just how they have it narrated in here.
Okay, so the court reporter narrated it incorrectly.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Judge, I'm gonna object to improper impeachment, and I'm gonna ask that it just be read in its entirety. The question
Also,
is.
standing objection, we'll read the whole thing into the record.
I read the entire, you want me to reread it?
She did not
Judge?
read the
I
question.
didn't hear you reading it.
Okay. Do you know Q? Answer. I don't know. I don't know him, but I heard when me and Ronnie was talking, that's how I heard about him. Because he was saying that when he say, I gave them Q's son, and this is in quotations, I gave them Q's son information, a description of Q's son, end quotations, is what he said he gave the detective. No more quotations are shown, because Q got a son that's named after, and said that Q had dreads and was light-skinned and had dreads, is what he said. But the daddy Q is a slim dude with bald head. He ain't,
Approach for a minute.
all right, Mr. Wilson, referring counsel to page 81 of the June deposition, lines 21 through 24. You were asked, Mr. Wilson, okay, but how do we get a description of what Q looks like in your proffer given on August 2nd if you've never met him and you didn't know him? Answer, I don't know. Question, line 25, you don't know? And then I asked you about a news article. Do you remember that line of questioning?
Yes.
So I asked you specifically, how did you know what Q looked like? And you had every opportunity to tell me, your client told me what he looked like. But you didn't say that, right?
Correct.
You said, I don't know.
Correct.
Okay. Showing you a news article from July 15th, 2022. Can you have a look at that? And take a good look at it, look at the contents of it, have a read,
Okay.
and then let me know when you're ready to continue.
Okay, I mean, okay.
Okay, hold on one second. Mr. Wilson, you've read that news article before, correct?
No, I haven't. I'm reading it now.
No? Okay. Oh, well, yeah, please finish reading it. Read all the information there.
Okay.
Your testimony says you've never read that news article before?
I've never read this, no.
Is it a coincidence that every detail you just gave me comes from that news article then?
Objection, Your Honor, that's incorrect. May we approach?
Approach.
I'm happy to go through each individual one. That's not a problem.
Judge, I think after he says he didn't read it, that should be the end of it. If he had said he read it, then that's one thing, but he said he didn't read this article.
Then she could point out the eerie similarity between his testimony and those article facts.
That's not, I don't think that's proper impeachment, Judge. I don't know how that falls.
I don't think it's impeachment.
Well, so then what's the purpose of it?
Credibility?
It's hearsay.
It's not being offered for the truth
Yeah,
of
it
the
definitely
matter.
goes to his credibility because it insinuates or it may lay the foundation for the belief that he read this article, called his attorney, called the state. I had a similar case as a prosecutor where the jailhouse snitch, his credibility was on the line. And they brought up everything that was in the article about it. But there was a deciding factor that made a huge difference in that case. But I won't go into that. I'm just saying that it's not improper and it's not unprecedented.
I think, Judge, I gave the witness my only copy of the article, so I just need a second to pull it up here, and then we're ready to go.
We can just make a copy of it.
Whatever is easiest. Let's see. Here.
Yeah, we can make a copy of it.
Thank you.
Do that. I agree with what you're saying, but I just, the way you came out of the block stating it, like he had memorized the article and point out the consistency.
I get it,
I have
Judge.
no problem with that.
I have no problem with doing that. That's my preference, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I mean, because I think what's going to become relevant also is you're claiming that every fact in the article he said, so, but he may have said other facts that aren't in the article.
What I'm actually claiming is that every fact that he said is in the article, not everything in the article is what he said. I think there's a difference.
I understand what you're
Yeah,
saying, but he may have, I think he said other things that aren't in the article. Well, we'll find out.
Sure, sure.
Are we ready?
Can I have just 2 more minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
You can certainly bring the witness back in.
You can bring the list back. Thank you.
Okay, ready to go, Judge. Thank you.
Now you can bring the chair back in, unless there's any other matters we need to discuss before that.
Nothing else, Judge.
All right, very good, thanks.
All rise for the jurors.
Jury Scott, y'all may be seated, thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. No issues with the court's instruction, no discussions about the case or any more restrictions. Very good, thank you. Maybe we counselor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Wilson, when we last left off, we were discussing the news article that was published July 15th, 2022.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you previously told this jury that Mr. Walker told you he shot Nilexia Alexander in the cheek, correct?
Yes.
This news article specifically mentioned she'd been shot 3 times in her head and once in her back, 1 wound to her cheek, correct?
Yes, I see it.
You told this court about the kind of car that Mr. Walker drove, a black Fusion.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Judge. I was trying not to do it. A black Fusion, correct?
Yes.
This article specifically mentions a dark black Fusion, correct?
It just says a dark Ford Fusion. It doesn't say black.
Okay, all right, a dark Ford Fusion. I'll give you that, right? You told this jury that Mr. Walker tells you that he goes to a Thornton's gas station immediately after, correct?
Yes.
This news article specifically mentions a dark Ford Fusion pulled into a Thornton's gas station at Hillsborough and Armenia Avenue, correct?
Yes.
You and I had this little back and forth about the description of Q, as in Mr. Robert Quincy Creed, the father, and Q, the son. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. This article specifically mentions that Mr. Walker tried to blame it on Q, but gave the description of 6'1" with a slim build and dreadlocks. And that
Okay.
didn't seem like Robert Quincy Creed, correct?
Yes.
And that was the exact description that you and I were going back and forth on, that you gave law enforcement and that you gave Mr. Terry, correct?
That's correct.
6'1", slim build with dreadlocks, right? Is that what you said in your proffer?
I don't think I gave a height, but
Hold on.
One second.
All right. All right, so, Mr. Wilson, let's go back in time. You gave this proffer back in August 2nd of 2022, is that correct?
yes,
And so, back when you gave this proffer, was all of this information and everything that had occurred and everything that was told to you fresh in your mind at that time?
yes,
Was it much fresher in your mind than it was when you did your deposition just 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Objection to leading.
Overruled.
yes.
Was it fresher? Prior to giving this deposition a couple weeks ago, where had you been housed?
Hillsborough County for 6 months and Pasco County for 18 months.
Okay. And when you were coming to give this deposition, you were in Pasco County and they brought you here, is that right?
Yes,
All right. Was there some confusion? Did you actually get transported a couple times?
yes. I arrived here in Hillsborough County May 28th, and they transported me to Hernando County June 2nd and brought me back to Hillsborough County June 2nd.
Okay. Now, prior to giving this deposition, did you ever have a chance to meet with me, meet with your attorney, or ever see your proffer?
No, sir.
So when you gave this deposition, you hadn't had a chance to refresh your memory from the proffer?
No, sir.
All right. Has a lot been happening in your life in the last 3 years?
Yes, sir.
Have you been thinking about this case those 3 years?
No, sir.
Have you been thinking about what Ronny Walker told you those 3 years?
No, sir.
And after this deposition, were you actually given your proffer from August?
Yes, sir.
And you had a chance to review it at that point?
Yes, sir.
Objection leading.
Overruled.
Was what you said in the proffer accurate to your memory back then?
Yes, sir.
On this section that Ms. Dunker was referring to on page 11 of the proffer,
Yes, sir.
when you give this statement, and I'm going to read it verbatim, it says, I don't know, the question was, do you know Q? And you said, I don't know him, but I heard when me and Ronnie was talking, that's how I heard about him. Because he was saying that when I gave them Q's son information, a description of Q's son is what he said he gave the detective, because Q got a son that's named after and said that Q had dreads and was light-skinned and had dreads is what he said. But the daddy Q is a slim dude with bald head. They ain't the same person. Is all of that information that Ronny Walker gave you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you know what his daddy Q actually looked like?
Never saw him. No, sir.
Now, this article that Ms. Dunker was referring to, you said you never read this article.
No, sir.
Was today the very first time you've read this article?
Yes, sir.
And do you typically read the Tampa Bay Times?
No, sir.
And you said you get your information from where?
Florida Sentinel Bulletin.
Okay, so Florida Sentinel Bulletin is where you had read about this case or heard about this case?
Yes.
All right. Now, the article that Ms. Dunker was referring to talks about and gives the description of a 6'1", slim build and dreadlocks, correct?
Yes, sir.
You described him as dreads, light skin, and had dreads. You never mentioned that he's 6'1", do you?
No, sir.
You never mentioned that he has a slim build, do you?
Objection leading.
No, sir.
Overruled.
So your description, the description in the article says 6'1" with a slim build and dreadlocks. You go, had dreads and was light skinned and had dreads.
Yes, sir.
All right. Also, this article never gives a description of the daddy Q, does it?
No, sir.
You read the article, right?
Yes, sir.
It never gives a description of him, does it?
No, sir.
Does it ever say in that article that daddy Q is a slim dude with a bald head?
No, sir.
Is bald head ever even mentioned in this article?
No, sir.
Do The article gives a lot more information that you never gave. Wouldn't that be accurate?
Yes, sir.
For instance, the article talks about cell phone records indicating the man's phone twice communicated with Nilexia's phone in the days before she was killed. You don't mention anything about any connection like that, do you?
No, sir.
I'll sustain the objection.
Do you mention anything like that?
No,
in the
sir.
proffer? You had mentioned that she was shot in the cheek. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever mention that she'd been shot 3 times in her head
No, sir.
and once in her back?
No, sir.
That's in the article, though, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever mention to the police that the girl was a runaway?
No, sir.
Is that in the article?
Yes, sir.
Do you ever mention anything about DNA?
No, sir.
Was that in the article?
Yes, sir.
Does the article ever mention Erica Sweet?
No, sir.
Does the article ever mention anything about a relationship between Ronny Walker and Nilexia?
Yes, sir.
Does it ever mention a relationship between the two of them?
No, sir.
Does it ever mention anything about STD or any motive for the murder?
No, sir.
Does it ever mention tossing the gun into the river?
No, sir.
Does the article ever mention anything about cleaning the car or cleaning the house?
No, sir.
Was all of that information that was given to you by Ronny Walker?
Yes, sir.
No further questions, Judge.
May this witness be excused?
Yes, you may.
Yes, no objection.
Please, you may call your next witness.
State of call Gregory Van Heist, Sergeant Gregory Van Heist.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.